Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and remain standing through the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance. At this time, the Grantsburg American Legion Color Guard will present the colors of the United States of America, and the GHS Choir, under the direction of Mr. Sean Lawrence, will sing our national anthem.
Forward, march!
Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Let me start by saying happy belated birthday to the United States Marine Corps celebrating the 249th birthday. Hoorah! Good morning and welcome to our Grantsburg School District's Veterans Day Assembly to honor those who have served our country in the military. My name is Michael Henderson and I have the privilege of teaching business and computer science here at Grantsburg. I've also had the honor to serve as a Master Sergeant in the United States Marine Corps for over 25 years, and I'm a proud veteran and a member of this American Legion present today. Today, we will take time out of our busy day to recognize and honor those who have served this country of ours in both good times and bad. We do this every year on the 11th of November, which is a significant date in the history of man. On this date, on the 11th day of the 11th month, at 11 a.m. in the morning, in a rail car outside of Compiègne, France, an armistice was signed to end the Great War, otherwise known as World War I. From that day, it was known as Armistice Day. However, after World War II and the Korean War, it became evident that a broader recognition was needed, and in 1954, under President Dwight D. Eisenhower, the holiday was officially renamed Veterans Day. The purpose of this change was to honor all American veterans, not just those who served in World War I. We have a Veterans Day as a powerful reminder of the sacrifices made by military personnel throughout history. It acknowledges veterans from all conflicts, including World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, Gulf War, and the War on Terror. The veterans before you each have a unique story of service and sacrifice and resilience, and many have shared these stories to help personalize the history that fosters a deeper understanding of the challenges faced by military personnel. These patriots also give us a better appreciation to the freedoms we enjoy. This understanding can inspire civic responsibility and encourage active participation in democracy. The day also brings us together as a community to honor the local veterans through ceremonies, parades, and educational programs, fostering a sense of duty and respect. Lastly, Veterans Day raises awareness about the issues faced by veterans, including mental health challenges, homelessness, and access to health care. It encourages discussions about how society can better support those who have served. It inspires individuals and organizations to take action, whether through volunteering, donating to veteran organizations, or advocating for policies that benefit veterans. Veterans Day is a powerful reminder of the sacrifices made by military personnel throughout history. By understanding the historical context, the contemporary significance of Veterans Day, we ensure that the contributions of our veterans are never forgotten and that their legacy continues to inspire future generations.
Thanks for making room for the choir over there. Hey, a big thank you to our choir. Boy, they sound amazing. And our band coming up as well, our music department, we are so proud of here at Grantsburg High School. The Grantsburg High School Commons has proudly displayed the Wall of Honor for decades and was relocated and redesigned in 2023. The concept of the wall was generated by Dave Alquist and diligently maintained by Cindy Throngard, Jeannie Merrick, and now Heidi Ingstrom. The wall is in the presence of our students every day and often studied by guests. Nearly every military recruiter that visits the high school expresses their gratitude for this Wall of Honor. On Veterans Day, we recognize all who have served and especially honor the sacrifices given by 2008 Grantsburg High School graduate, U.S. Marine Sergeant Carson Holmquist, who gave his life in the tragic events of July 16, 2015 in Chattanooga, Tennessee. The price of freedom is high, and we cannot afford to forget those who have been willing to pay for it. This year, we are blessed to have Technical Sergeant Fateh as our guest speaker. In 2020, Technical Sergeant Fateh graciously prepared and recorded a Veterans Day message that was virtually delivered to our then GHS students in celebration of Veterans Day. Technical Sergeant Fateh is a 2013 graduate of Grantsburg High School. Following graduation, she entered the Air Force. She is currently the flight chief at the 148th Fighter Wing in Duluth, Minnesota, Air National Guard Base. She is responsible for 6 recruiters who fulfill the annual Air Guard manpower requirements by recruiting highly qualified civilian and prior service applicants. Technical Sergeant Paige Fateh has been decorated with many awards during her service, and we are blessed to have her join us today. Paige, from all of us at Grantsburg, thank you for your service, and thank you for speaking with us today.
Okay, while Heidi gets my PowerPoint set up, let's just give one more round of applause to the choir. They were okay, we're rocking and rolling. Okay, so when I made my presentation, I assumed I was going to be a little bit nervous, and for those of you who know me, my voice doesn't usually shake like this. So first thing we're going to do to hopefully ease my nerves is play a little game. Who in here has played Two Truths and a Lie? Amazing. Okay, we have at least 17 hands raised. So I prepared 3 statements. This is how Two Truths and a Lie works. I prepared 3 statements. You can see them up there. One of them is a lie. So what we're going to do is we're going to vote for what we think is the lie. So the statements are, I was the captain of my hockey team. I am allergic to peanuts, deathly allergic to peanuts. And I was a criminal investigator for the United States Air Force. Okay, who thinks that I was not a captain of my hockey team? Okay, we got a few. Who thinks I'm not allergic to peanuts? Okay, decent amount of hands raised. My parents are obviously trying to cheat. And who thinks I was not a criminal investigator for the United States Air Force? Okay, so majority of you are right. I am not allergic to peanuts. However, here's the deal. They do not belong in baked goods. And can I get a round of applause if we agree? Okay, so now that we know, or now that I've eased my tension a little bit, let's learn a little bit about me. I was born and raised, like most people in this room, in Grantsburg, Wisconsin. I graduated from this high school 11 years ago, and I see a lot of familiar teacher faces, so we're all just going to collectively say it was like 5 years ago. I recently started doing this thing since moving back to the Midwest, especially here in Grantsburg, where I say, when I meet someone, okay, but who are your parents? And then when that doesn't click into who they are, I say, okay, but who are your grandparents? So that's what I'm going to do for you guys here today. My parents are Kim and Craig Johnson. You better lock it up, sir. No, none of that. Okay, I'm not allowed to make eye contact with my dad anymore. My parents are Kim and Craig Johnson. My mother's parents are Lloyd and Marilyn Coleman, and my dad's parents are Pat and Benny Johnson. Okay, now that we know a little bit about me, or at least where I came from, let's talk about my military career. I want to start off by telling you guys about my why. Who in here has Mr. Laney for government class? Yes. Perfect. I also had Mr. Laney for government class. And for like 5 years ago, Mr. Laney, right? And in 2011, I walked into my government class, and Mr. Laney was setting up the classroom to play a movie. You knew that was going to happen back in my day because Mr. Laney was wheeling a TV in on a cart. Okay, that's how we used to watch movies. So I was super excited watching Mr. Laney set up the classroom for a movie, so I thought. But what Mr. Laney played that day was a documentary about 9/11. I was gonna nap, but I didn't nap, and that documentary changed. I'm so sorry. Being a mom made me way less tough. That documentary changed the trajectory of my life. I'm not going to show you the exact documentary we watched that day, but I am going to show you a clip, and I hope it has a similar impact on you, if we could dim the lights. I was in the 3rd grade on 9/11. and this class was the first time I had the opportunity to see the events that unfolded that day. I went home that night and I told my dad, I think I want to join the military. If you know my dad, or you're familiar with the price of college, that might be his favorite thing that ever came out of my mouth. And 2 weeks later, on the Monday of deer season, we drove to meet an Air Force recruiter in Rice Lake, Wisconsin. Fast forward to August after I graduated that year, I had my boots on the ground at basic military training in San Antonio, Texas. This was the start of my military career. For those of you that don't know, I was a member of security forces. So a little bit of information on security forces. They have two main parts of the job. They have the criminal investigation or the criminal justice side, which is very similar to what local law enforcement does, writing tickets, responding to 911 calls. And then they also have the base defense side, which is guarding all of the military's assets, to include our planes, our nuclear weapons, our intelligence, and all of the people. Security Forces brought me to London, England as my first duty station, which was the absolute best assignment of my life. I traveled all through Europe, and then eventually decided I was really missing the target dollar section, so I applied to come back to America. I was then stationed at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base in North Carolina. Security Forces allowed me to have many experiences and see many countries, some of which I wouldn't go back to, and others I definitely would. Security Forces allowed me to be a part of something greater than myself, and it was the first time in my military career that I was really proud and really grateful for the decision I made to serve. But security forces also allowed me to spend many, many long hours in a Humvee. So you can understand, I got a little bored and I was ready for something new. This is when I applied to be on our base honor guard team. The base honor guard is in charge of conducting the military honors for the surrounding area wherever you live. It's like within a 200 to 300 mile radius, and we are the ones that conduct the 21 gun salutes, the playing of taps, and the folding of the flag at any veteran's funeral who's ever served, ever. So the funeral home will reach out to the honor guard that's closest to them, and they will arrange for us to come out. This was the first time I heard and got to spend a large amount of time with the veterans that came before me. I got to hear their stories and hear the impact that the veterans that we were laying to rest had made. Because I had just made E5, I was the highest rank in honor guard, so this meant I was the NCO of most of the details. And what that means is I was the one folding the flag and giving the flag to the next of kin. I am forever grateful for my experience in the honor guard because I don't think I ever could have properly appreciated the veterans that came before my time like the honor guard made me do. After my year in the honor guard, I applied and was accepted to be a criminal investigator in the Air Force Office of Special Investigations. I'm looking over here at the people that raised their hand thinking that was a lie. I went to school to be a criminal investigator, and I specialized in assault of like any and all kinds, as well as narcotics. As you can imagine, investigating anything above a felony level crime and having a caseload of approximately 30 to 40 cases a year for a few years would take a toll on a person. So one day I got an email, and it was from the headquarters of the Air Force, and it said, we need 100 more Air Force recruiters before the end of the fiscal year. I printed this email, I stood really tall in front of the special agent in charge of my detachment, and I told them, I think I could use a break. You see, in recruiting, you only get selected and you only have to stay for 4 years. You go to school, you become a recruiter, and after those 4 years are done, you return back to your original duty. I told him, I could assure him I would probably return, and he agreed. He said that OSI would keep the light on for me if I ever wanted to come home, and he pushed my name up to Headquarters Air Force. Recruiting was a breath of fresh air to say the least, mostly because high school students are very rarely criminals. And the Pacific Northwest was beautiful. As you can see in the picture here, that's my favorite mountain, Mount Rainier. I was stationed in Lacey, Washington, just outside of Seattle. And I don't want to toot my own horn, but I was pretty darn good at recruiting. I went 189% my rookie year, and all other subsequent years, I averaged between 150 and 190% of my yearly mission. Changing lives was so rewarding, and I also thought it was pretty darn easy because I loved the Air Force, and I think people could tell. I loved the Air Force so much that in front of my favorite mountain, I raised my right hand and committed to 4 more years. Well, that was going really well until my baby. For those of you that don't know, a year and a half ago, I had a baby, and it made me way less tough and way less cool. That's not in the script, but I think that's pretty apparent. I'm talking to a very small percent of the audience right now, but being a mother changes everything. And for the first time in my life, I started to think back to my own childhood. I had this little baby growing in front of me, and it was as if I took an hourglass and tipped it upside down. Every day that Emmett grew, I watched sand from the top go to the bottom. Like I said, I started thinking a lot about my childhood and what I loved about it, which was growing up with my grandparents. And then I started thinking about my grandparents, who were getting a lot more gray in the last 10 years that I had been away, and I had missed a lot of pizza Sundays. So I thought back to what a crusty old tech sergeant said to me on my first deployment, and that was, Air National Guard is the hidden gem of the Air Force. If you can get an AGR job in the Air National Guard, you're a unicorn, but you're also the luckiest person in the world. So in the middle of the night, one night, I was up feeding my newborn baby. I opened my phone and I Googled, what is the closest Air National Guard base to Grantsburg, Wisconsin? And as you can see, a couple came up. So I clicked on the first link, and that had a list of all the jobs that were available, none of which my husband and I were qualified for. So I closed my phone, I fed my baby, I went back to sleep, and I decided I would just pray about it. A little under 2 months later, my maternity leave was nearing its end, and I thought, I'm gonna give it one more Google. I'm gonna look one more time, and if there's nothing available, I know my time and active duty's not done. So I did. I opened my phone, and I Googled, Air National Guard full-time jobs, Minnesota. I clicked the first link, and I scrolled, and I saw 2 jobs, the production recruiter superintendent and an aircraft maintainer job, both of which we needed. I took a screenshot because it was well the middle of the night, and it was my shift with the baby, and I sent it to my husband. The next morning, I walked downstairs, and he was working on his resume. All of that to say, it worked out really well, and I'm now a proud member of the 148th Fighter Wing Air National Guard base in Duluth, Minnesota. Okay, I don't think Mr. Haas thought when he invited me here, I don't think he understood that I'm a recruiter. So enough sappy stuff. I think I would be doing a disservice to myself and every recruiter in the local area from every branch if I didn't give just a tiny little recruiting spiel. So, I'm biased, and I think there's a few here in the audience that are biased too. Obviously, the Air Force is the best branch, but here's the deal. There's many other branches, and it wouldn't take but one conversation with a couple different recruiters to find out what is best for you. I promise you, there is a place for everyone here, somewhere in the military, and it might not be in my branch. So, really quickly, I just want to explain the difference between active duty and guard, so we all understand. So, active duty is full-time, right? If you're looking to get out of Grantsburg, this might be a great gig for you. You are full-time, 365 days of the year, and you go mostly where Uncle Sam wants you to go. We're assuming that you are a full-time worker, right, Monday through Friday, that you're going to be a part-time student. So they give you about $4,500 of college tuition yearly, which did the job for me. I was able to get 2 degrees doing it part-time. It took a lot longer than most of my friends, but it was able to do the job and I've never paid a penny. The Air National Guard, on the other hand, we're assuming that you're going to be going to school full-time and working with us part-time. You commit to 2 days a month, 1 weekend a month, and we cover up to $20,000 a year in the state of Minnesota. Okay, that's the recruiting spiel. Thanks, Mr. Haas. I want to conclude by explaining just a little bit more what a veteran means to me, what being a veteran means to me. Being a veteran has given me the best friendships of my life. I have met the most kind, caring, compassionate, hardworking, and loyal people from all walks of life, from everywhere in the world. From my office partner who talked to high school kids with me in Washington, to a defender who sat next to me in a Humvee for 16 hours a day, I have made relationships that will last a lifetime. Being a veteran is important to me, and it's given me the opportunity to protect freedom. Protect the freedom of religion and freedom of speech, and the freedom for everyone in this room over the age of 18 to go to the voting ballots and vote for someone who isn't the same as me. It's given me the opportunity to travel the world. I have officially been to 32 different countries, some on my own dime and a lot on Uncle Sam's dime. Being a veteran gave me a husband. For those of you that don't know, I did meet my husband in the service. He was actually the trainer who trained my team in Honor Guard. He was completing his year and my team was picking up. So that's where I met my husband. And being a veteran has given me extensive knowledge and experience that will last me the rest of my life. But most importantly, being a veteran and getting to have my photo on the wall with less than 1% of America who raised their right hand to fight and to die for our country is the greatest honor of my life. Thank you.
At this time, the GHS Band, under the direction of Mr. Jesse Froese, will play marches of the Armed Forces. Please stand if you have served or are currently serving in one of the branches so we may recognize you. TAPS has occurred for over 150 years to honor those who have given their lives during or after service. Following a gun salute from the Grantsburg American Legion, TAPS will be played by GHS sophomore Caleb Ron. Please stand as our nation's colors are retired. As we conclude our program, we would like to invite veterans, community members, and guests to the GHS Commons for refreshments and fellowship. Please take a moment to view our Wall of Honor, which is a tribute to Grantsburg alumni who are serving in the armed forces and to the sacrifice made by Sergeant Carson Holmquist. Thank you to all individuals who have served, are serving, or will serve. GHS students, you are dismissed to Block 2 classes.
Thanks for being here. Always appreciate it. With every single year.
So is that different this year, or we've always been able to do before? Okay, all right. You can't do it for Cameron, left center, okay. Football's a little different. Yeah, that's awesome. Good. For some reason I thought you did it before, but yes, I was wrong. Yeah, that's good. Awesome. Good. Good. Yeah. Exciting on Friday night. How was that? Oh, it was nice. I still, I mean, and that was a good team. Yeah. And you just jumped up, and I think you kind of stunned them. Yeah. We were expecting it. No. And, you know, so yeah, it was just, I don't think we've ever been beat. And I like to see on the record books if that's ever happened. Did you look back?